We're gonna move and groove and have some fun today. It's time for music class. It's time for music class. We are singing, tracking the talker, sitting nice and tall, hands in our lap, voices off. Thank you. Here's what we're doing in music today. First, we will move to music. Then we will discover two kinds of music notes. We will discover the life of a famous composer, and we will listen to and analyze music. Those are our goals for the day. So the very first thing we're going to do is move to music. So I have here my dancing scarf. I'm going to play for you a song. The song is called Adventure, I do believe. And your job is to make your scarf match the music. If you don't have a scarf, you can use a towel. I used a hat when I did this with Primary Academy earlier in the week. Anything you find that will work. If you can't find anything, you can just use your hand and pretend like you have a scarf. If you notice that the music has a high pitch, you can put your scarf up high. Low pitch, scarf down low. If the music is fast, maybe like presto, you can move your scarf in a presto way. If the scarf is largo, very slow, you can move your scarf in a largo way. If the articulation is staccato, short and snappy, move your scarf short and snappy. If it's legato, smooth and calm, move your scarf smooth and calm. So I'm going to push play on the song. We're going to list about maybe 40 seconds of it, and then we'll come back and talk about what we heard. Here we go. Okay, so here's what I heard. When the music started, I heard some high-sounding piano, so I kind of kept my scarf pretty high the whole time. I heard that it was kind of smooth, but at times a little bit bouncy. So it wasn't bouncing really sporadically, really jumpily around, but it was kind of bouncing a little bit in more of a smooth way. And it was maybe in allegro speed, so not super fast, but not slow either. Okay. I'm going to make my face small, and we're going to move on to our next slide. Today, we're doing a rhythm of the day to start, just like we used to do our secret word of the day. There are two kinds of notes that we're going to start off with learning. So rhythms are patterns in music. Rhythms are patterns in music. Rhythms are patterns in music. And we can make different patterns by using different combinations of different kinds of notes. So there's two kinds that we're going to start talking about today. And there's different ways of naming these different kinds of notes. So we're going to do the most simple way first. And then if you are a fourth grader and maybe partway through the year, third grade, we might start talking about a different way that you really learn more of in middle academy. But for now, we're just going to do it the most simple way. If you've ever taken like piano lessons or voice lessons or any other kind of music lessons before, you might know a different way of talking about these. But for now, we're going to make it simple. The first kind of note just looks like a stick that goes straight up and down. You can see that at the top of your screen there. We call that ta. Ta is a stick straight up and down. Ta is a stick straight up and down. Ta isn't fast. It's not super slow. It's just kind of like a medium speed. So when you see a ta, just know that's kind of a medium speed note. Below that, we have two sticks that go up and down and one across the top. I always think that one kind of looks like a table. If you look at it from the side, we call that one titi. Titi. Each of those legs, parts that go up and down, makes its own sound, the T. T, T, and then the top one just kind of crosses them together. So we have ta, T, T. Okay, TT is faster than ta. You can fit 2 T's inside the same amount of space that a ta takes up. And we'll see kind of what that looks like when we go to our next page for our rhythm of the day. So every day when we do this, kind of like we do with our secret word of the day, I'm going to have a new rhythm for you. We're going to see if we can figure out how we would speak that rhythm, and then we'll also clap it. So I see in this very first one, and I'm going to walk you through very simply, I see the first thing is a straight line up and down. That's our ta. So I know when I do this rhythm, the first thing I'm going to say is ta. That's ta. Ta. Okay. Next to it, I have another ta, another one going straight up and down. So that's another ta sound. So far, my first 2 sounds are ta, ta. Sound exactly the same. After that, I see the tabletop, the TT. So when I get to that, TT fills up the same amount of space as a ta. Ta, ta, TT. Ta, ta, TT. Okay, and then I have 1 sound left at the end. That's 1 more ta, straight line up and down. That's another ta. So if I start from the beginning, it would be ta, ta, ti, ta. Okay. So now we're going to repeat that over and over again. In later rhythms, I will have repeat signs at the beginning and at the end of our rhythm, just to remind us that we do repeat that. But we're just going to go through, we're going to repeat this 4 times, and then we're going to say fine, we're done with the sound. Okay? So I'm going to say it, ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta. And as I do that, I'm going to clap a steady beat as I go. Here we go. Ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta, 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 ti, ti, ta. There we go. That is our rhythm of the day. In our next rhythm of the day, we're going to do the tas and the TTs again. We're just going to have it in a different combination just to see if we remember this from next time. Okay, today we're going to be, ta, ta, TT, ta. I forgot I did that. Okay, today we're going to talk about a famous composer. We've talked about Beethoven before. Today we're going to talk about the life and music of Johann Sebastian Bach. So I'm going to tell you some things that I think are important for us to know, some interesting facts about Bach's life, Johann Sebastian Bach. And then we're going to listen to 2 of his songs today. Neither of the songs that we're going to listen to are very long. We're going to analyze them in 2 very different ways. So, find a comfy space. You can sit down, relax, grab a pillow if you're in a place with a pillow. Here's some things that I think are important to know about Johann Sebastian Bach. He was born on March 21st, 1685 in Germany. So he was born a long time ago, like hundreds of years ago, in the country of Germany. So that's on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. If you remember back when we talked about Beethoven, he lived in Austria, which is right near Germany, so around the same place that Beethoven was from. Bach's father was a trumpeter for the court of a duke and director of the town's musicians. So a trumpeter is a person who plays the trumpet, that brass instrument. And the court of a duke is kind of like, okay, so there's like kings and queens, and there's princes and princesses, and lords and ladies, and there's dukes and duchesses. So not like true royalty, but someone who's very important and has a lot of power in the town. A lot of times they would have these really big mansions. And back then, because it was, the 1700s, they didn't have TV, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have Spotify. So if they wanted entertainment, they would ask people to maybe come to their mansions and perform for them. So the Duke would bring musicians to their court, their house, and make music for them to be entertained. And he was director of the town's musicians, so he was kind of like a music teacher for the musicians in the town. Bach learned how to play violin and harpsichord from his father. So his dad was a trumpeter, but I guess he played violin and harpsichord too, so he must have been a very talented person. And he learned to play organ from his uncle. When he was very young, he was in a church choir, and they said he had an uncommonly fine soprano singing voice when he was a child. So that just means that he was a really good singer when he was a little kid. So that's pretty cool. There's a picture of him there. That's a painting that someone made of Bach sitting with his mother. So that's him when he was a very young boy. And that's kind of an important picture because of what we learned. By the time he was age 10, so that would maybe put him in around 4th grade, his mother, his father, and 2 of his siblings had passed away. There was a big sickness that came through Europe around this time. So his family, a lot of them passed away. So he moved in with his brother after that. When he lived with his brother taught him a little bit more about the organ. When he was living with his brother, he got a singing scholarship, which means someone said, "You are such a great singer. We want you to become an even better singer." Excuse me. So we are going to fund your education. We're going to bring you to our school. Excuse me. And we're going to teach you how to sing even better. So that's what a scholarship is. I hope that many of you go to college one day, and if you apply for scholarships, people can pay for some of your education. Now, the place that wanted to give him his scholarship was 180 miles away. They didn't have cars back then. They weren't invented yet. So he walked there with a buddy who was also going to go to the same school. He walked 180 miles. That's pretty impressive. That's like 3 hours of driving, probably. You take pit stops along the way. So it probably took him quite a long time to get there. Now, when his voice started to change, he switched his focus to the organ. So many of you, especially if you are male, will notice that your voice starts to change as you get older. Men and women's voices both start to change. Men just have a more drastic change. So that uncommonly fine soprano singing voice, he kind of lost that as he grew up. And if we remember back from when we learned this, soprano voice is a high-sounding voice. So he switched to organ since his brother and his uncle taught him about organ. He focused on the organ. And he played organ for a duke, just like his father had performed for a duke, which is pretty cool. There's a picture of Bach. Well, that last picture was a picture of organ. There's a picture of Bach when he was an adult. So he married his first wife, whose name was Maria, and he had 7 children with Maria. And then, unfortunately, his wife passed away. So he remarried and had 13 children with his second wife. 13 plus 7. 13, 34. He had 20 kids, which is pretty impressive. He became a music teacher after, he had done his performing on the organ with the duke. He became a music teacher for a lot of his life. He became sick, and his sickness made him blind when he was later in life, and he passed away soon after he lost his sight. His passing, when he died, marked the end of something called the Baroque period. So in music and in art and in different things, we have different periods of music. So right now we might call ourselves in the contemporary period because it's right now. We had maybe the jazz period and the blues period. Back we had the romantic period. That's when Beethoven was around. We had the classical period. That's kind of Mozart's thing. Bach is the Baroque period. So when Bach died, they said this period of making music is over. It's time to start something new. Much of his music wasn't published until 100 years after he died. So when he was alive, people didn't even know about his music. He wasn't as famous as maybe he could have been otherwise, because it wasn't till 100 years after he died that his music was published. When you publish something, that means other people can buy your music in a book and perform it for themselves. Okay, so that's a little bit about Bach that I thought you should like to know. Now we're going to listen to 2 of Bach's songs. The first is called Toccata and Fugue. And Toccata and Fugue, that's just styles of making music. It doesn't really mean anything specific. The translation is they're just styles of music. So I have my whiteboard here, and I'm going to answer these 5 questions as we listen to the music. The first question, what is the tempo? Largo, andante, allegro, or presto? I'm going to tap the tempo as we get started, and that might help you figure out if it's largo, slow, andante, a walking speed, allegro, a skipping speed, or presto, very fast. Then what is the dynamic? Loud, medium, or soft? What is the articulation? Legato, staccato, or marcato? What is the pitch? Do you hear mostly high or low sounds? And what instruments do you hear? I'm going to give you a hint about that last one. There's only one instrument. It is an instrument that we have studied before, and it is an instrument in the keyboard family. So that might give you a hint about number 5. So I'm going to play this one. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, I don't think. How long is it? No, 10 minutes? We're going to listen to maybe like 3 minutes of it most. And then we'll come back and talk about what we heard. And then we're going to listen to another song by Bach, but we're going to do it in a very different way. Okay? So if you need to pause the video to get a whiteboard marker or get pencil, notebook out, you can do that. Or if you can really, really well think this in your head and remember it for the end, that works too. Okay, so here we go. Toccata and Fugue by Johann Sebastian Bach. One more minute. Finish up that last bit you're working on. Okay, we're going to talk about our answers for these. So first, what is the tempo? I wrote that it was andante, a walking speed. This kind of music was kind of played with more feeling, so the tempo isn't very solid. It kind of speeds up a little bit and slows down a little bit with accelerandos and retardandos, speed up and slow down. But I would say on average it's probably about andante speed. What is dynamic? I said it was loud. Because of the instrument that is being played, those were meant to be pretty loud. So I wrote that it was a loud dynamic. What is the articulation? I wrote that it was marcato, very strong with accents. It was not smooth legato. It was not short and snappy with a lot of space in between the sounds. It was marcato, very strong. What is the pitch? I wrote that it was a low pitch. It was down low. And what instruments do you hear? There's only one, and it was that organ that Bach was so well known for performing. I also wrote off to the side, spooky. I think this music sounds kind of spooky. like this, I said at the beginning, this song is called Toccata and Fugue. Fugue is a type of song that were very often performed at funerals, actually. All right, I'm erasing my whiteboard and we're moving on to our next song. This one's going to be very different. On your whiteboard or in your notebook, I want you to draw a circle at the top and a big square at the bottom. So I'm going to do that on my whiteboard here. Matches what I have a picture of. Okay, this song is called Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring, which is kind of a uncommon name for a song. And we're going to answer just 2 questions as we listen to this. So we're going to maybe listen to this for 2 minutes because I think it'll go that quick. At the top in the circle, we're going to say, how does the music make you feel? So you can either choose, this is either your face or you can make it into an emoji face. If it's your face, you can draw your own eyes, your mouth, your hair, reacting. How does the music make you feel? Or you can make this into an emoji face. So if you think music makes you happy, you can draw a smiley face emoji. If the music makes you sad, you can draw, the sad emoji. If it makes you feel cool, you can draw that one sunglasses. How does the music make you feel? Happy, sad, bored, excited, uneasy, worried, nervous? I don't know. Show me what you feel. And then in the big box, what does the music make you think about? You're just going to draw a picture. Maybe the music makes you think about your grandma. Draw a picture of your grandma. Maybe it makes you think about your best friend. Draw a picture of your best friend. Maybe it makes you think about your dog. Draw a picture of your dog. Maybe it makes you think about, I don't know, Phineas and Ferb. You can draw a picture of Phineas and Ferb. Whatever. What does the music make you think about? Draw a picture of it. So we're going to listen to Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring for about 2 minutes. How does the music make you feel? What does the music make you think about? Here we go. About 20 seconds left to finish. Just a quick little doodle there. All right, finish up that last bit you're working on. Okay, I'm going to show you my answers. How does the music make you feel? What does music make you think about? I would love to see some of your answers for this. If you want to take a photo of it with your phone or your grown-up's phone and send it to me, my email address, melissailes@bordeauxacademy.org. I'll put that email address in the description if you want to send it to me. I'd love to see what your answers are for this. This is my emoji face. It's just like a happy little smiley emoji. I just felt joyful as I listened to this, but that's just me. Maybe the music made you feel bored. That's cool. Maybe it made you feel excited. That's cool. The instrument that you heard was mostly the organ that was playing there, which is kind of neat. It's kind of neat to hear Toccata and Fugue, which sounds kind of spooky, played on the organ, and then this completely different song also played on the organ. And what does the music make you think about? I drew a picture of me and my brother. My brother's name is Josh. He's my older brother. And that's us when we were really little. We had a video game that had this song in it. It was kind of a nerdy video game. But I remember sitting at my grandparents' house on my my NES, because that's how old Mrs. Isles is, my Nintendo Entertainment System, playing my very cool game called Bible Adventures. So it was me and my brother playing video games. So that's what I thought about. I would love it if you sent me a picture, take a picture of what you have. I'd love to know your thoughts on this song. We only have one thing left to do today, and that is our train exit. So breathe with me, Elementary Academy. Here we go. Thank you for enjoying music with me today. I hope you have a magical musical day, and I will see you next time.